Hello again, amazing and awesome artists. Today we're going to be looking at a collection of words. Now, in Peter H. Reynolds' book, The Word Collector, the character in the book collects tons of words, and then he arranges them in different ways. His words go flying, and he puts them together in a certain way that it's kind of like a piece of art. He writes poems with those words by arranging them in an artful way, and then those poems turned into songs. Poetry is very powerful. It is about emotion. It's about imagination. So in the book, people are saying, I understand, I'm sorry, thank you. They're all telling a story. Now, the poetry or the poem doesn't actually have to say that. It can be just a few words that represent lots of feelings. And even better is the pictures that go along with the poems. So in this book, it wouldn't have been so interesting if Peter H. Reynolds didn't draw pictures. So today, we are going to be looking at some poems in something called popcorn and poetry. Now, yes, there is popcorn involved, and it involves popping like popcorn around the room, reading different poems. These poems are not going to be written by you. Phew, you're off the hook for the writing. These poems were written by students at Seabreeze High School. In fact, they were written by one of my favorite teachers when I went there to Seabreeze High School. One of my very favorite teachers, and her students wrote these poems. In fact, this is a project that I did when I was in high school in Mrs. Paul's class, just like you're about to. So all of her students each wrote a poem. Now, these are poems specially written for you. They knew about this project and that they were going to be handing them off to second graders at Osceola Elementary. They each include the poem and then a little bit of a description about themselves on the back. That's called an author biography. So there's each poem, and then on the back of that poem, it'll tell a little bit about the author. In this case, that's the high school student at Seabreeze. They tell a little bit about them, what they like, maybe why they wrote the poem, where they're going to college, something like that, and then a picture. So you'll know a little bit about who wrote your poem too. Now today, if your poem is a little bit too difficult, you can team up with a buddy to help you decode that poem, because poetry needs detective skills. So today you're going to need to put on your art detective thinking caps as you decode these poems and work together to try to find one that really speaks to you. You're looking for a poem that you can read and automatically think about different things that you could draw to go along with that poem. I'm going to choose one poem to start out with. The poem I'm going to read is called Bert the Dinosaur by Caitlin Ott. Dinosaurs roam the earth and eat all plants in sight. Some of them like to take flight and roar with all their might, leaving footprints in the dirt. The biggest dinosaur passes by. His name is Bert. Many dinosaurs are scared of him because of his size, but he is the nicest dinosaur, at least in my eyes. Bert likes to eat leaves and run around all day. You can tell he's coming when the ground starts to shake. Bert is the best, for goodness sake. Today, I want you to read some poems with a partner. Maybe read a little bit about that author to get a better idea of what they like doing, if you could relate to them. Then you're going to start thinking about what clues you can use from that poem using your art detective thinking caps. So I'm about to show you how I'm going to annotate a poem. That means taking notes on the poem. Also going to get out my sketchbook in case I get any drawing ideas or need a little bit more space to take those notes. The first thing I'm going to do after I select my favorite poems, after reading about 4 or 5 and narrow it down to one favorite, I am going to write that name of the poem in my sketchbook so I don't forget, just in case I lose it. That poem is now mine. I'm the only one illustrating it, and it's going to go into a book. That's the most exciting part. So you really want to pick a poem that works for you, that not only you understand what it means, but you also are able to draw a picture that will go with it and really show what that author was trying to say in their poem. So I'm writing down that, I underlined some words here. The dinosaurs were scared of Bert. He was the biggest dinosaur, but really, he was a good dinosaur. So there was no reason for the other dinosaurs to be scared of him. So now that I have some ideas about what I might draw, maybe a dinosaur, maybe I'm going to draw some plants, maybe I'm going to draw some good dinosaurs, maybe some dinosaurs that are scared of him, showing that might not make him feel very good. I'm going to use a tablet to look up dinosaurs and how to draw dinosaurs on Art for Kids Hub. That can help me at least sketch out my first character. Of course, if you don't have an iPad or if we don't have time to use the iPads today, we'll have plenty of time to sketch out our ideas next class. I'm just going to do that so I can get my first sketch of my character after I've selected my poem and I got a good idea of what I'm going to draw. Now, an illustration doesn't just have to be one picture. In fact, it should be more than one picture. It should be a whole story. So I'm not only going to just have a dinosaur. I'm just going to draw this as my first sketch of my character. Then I'm going to go back and draw several dinosaurs. It might take me a lot of practice to get one that I really like. And then I'm going to think about the other things I want to do. Am I going to show him eating? Am I going to show him being scary? Am I going to show him scaring off the other dinosaurs? Am I going to show him being sad because he wants just to be nice and play with the other dinosaurs, but they're too scared of him? It's totally up to you how you decide to show your illustration. Just make sure that you really understand the poem before you start drawing. You want to make sure that you're making an accurate illustration of what's happening in that poem. Not only are you going to get to meet the Seabury student that wrote your poem, but it's going to go into a book of poems with their poem right next to your picture. Your name is going to be published in that book. How cool is that? Not only are you going to be illustrators, you're already artists, but now you get to be a published illustrator and artist. How cool is that? All right, make sure you get your ideas about things you might draw. Make a list in your sketchbook, underline some words, and when you're done today, put that poem inside your sketchbook so you don't lose it. You're going to need it for next class. All right, artists, have fun with your poetry and popcorn reading today.